In this video, I'm going to recommend 3 manga that I think are vastly underrated and are high tier shonen in every right. Each of these manga have anime adaptations that are either underwhelming, steer away from the manga, or have no continuation in sight. So if you don't know who these characters are in the thumbnail, that is Yato of Noragami, Alan Walker of D. Gray Man, and Rin Okumura of Blue Exorcist. And if you recognize these characters from the anime, I'm going to tell you why these are some of the most underrated pieces in shonen manga right now. If you are completely new to these series, I will tell you why these stories are ones that I highly recommend. So starting us off, we have Origami Stray God. Origami is the story of Yato, a minor god who does odd jobs for 5 yen with the goal of purchasing himself a shrine. Yato is a god who cannot seem to hold on to a shinki, which is the weapon/power system. I'll explain that a little bit later. So he eventually has to settle on a young, rebellious shinki in Yukine. And within the same story, we have the story of Hiyori, a young girl who is treading the line between two different worlds. Throughout the story, Yato, Yukine, and Hiyori all go through trials and tribulations that make this story truly great. And since I already mentioned it, we might as well just hop right into the power system of Noragami. The Shinki system is probably most comparable to the Soul Reaper's Zanpakuto system in Bleach. Essentially, the spirits sign a contract with the gods and become their weapons to use in battle. Though if these weapons commit crimes or have bad thoughts, they will end up stinging their masters. So these weapons and their masters must be in fairly good condition, so both can be in peak condition. These weapons also have the ability, based on if they put their lives on the line and are in unison with their masters, to ascend to another level called the Blessed Vessel. Now, when I first picked up the manga, I really couldn't believe a shonen manga creator or mangaka created this, a shonen creator. And I say this because shonen, for the most part, are fairly average when it comes to the art. And I'm not saying that there aren't shonen that aren't exceptions, because there clearly are. But if you look at the majority of shonen manga, they're pretty average when it comes to art. But the artwork in Noragami is truly something to behold. It is clearly top tier. I think the darker panels on the pages really add to the battle art and character designs as well. And finally, the characters. Some of these characters are not only very likable, such as Yato, but are truly great written ones too. Also, Yato, Yukine, Bishamon, and Kazuma. All of these characters go through great development in ways that truly draw you into the story and won't let you down. Noragami is currently 95 chapters and is a monthly manga that is currently being serialized. So you have the ability to catch up and continue reading monthly. The next manga that I have to let you all know about is D. Gray Man. D. Gray Man is the manga that I think by far is the most underrated on this list, because I also think it is the best on this list, but it yet is talked about even less than the other two. Probably because of the anime adaptation. It's a little bit of an older anime, started in 2006, and then D. Gray Man Hollow, which is the more recent adaptation of the more recent chapters, is just a bad adaptation. So now let's get into why D. Gray Man, the manga, is something great. D. Gray Man is the story of Alan Walker, a young boy with innocence and a cursed eye on a journey to rid the world of Akuma and the Millennium Earl, and villain who creates these Akuma out of souls of the dead and the ones who mourn for them. The power system of D. Gray Man is innocence. Very little people in this world are born with innocence, and innocence is something that inhibits either a weapon, such as a sword, clothing item, such as shoes or boots, or a body part, such as an arm. Innocence can also be called anti Akuma weapons, because these are the only weapons that can hurt Akuma. As we learn later on, there are ways for these innocents to ascend, but that's spoilers, and we do not do that here. At least not anymore. Now, the art style of D Gray Man actually switches throughout the story. In the beginning, it was a lot closer to a typical shonen, but still good. But somewhere along the way, Hoshino really decided to turn it up, and now it is something that really separates it from a lot of other shonen because it is very high tier. You can tell in the line work and the paneling and the real like character design even that it's just straight up better than a lot that the shonen demographic has to offer. Now, the absolute development of Alan Walker is astonishing to watch. I am not one who particularly likes it when the author spoon feeds you things to understand because I think it gives you less of a reason to continue watching if you already know, right? But this is different because of the way it happens. I'm not gonna tell you how because spoilers and we don't do that. The other characters such as Lena Lee, Kanda, Labi, and Count Crowley are all fantastic as well. And it's truly remarkable that they are in the same series as Alan, but at the same time, those characters will never get as much respect as they really should because Alan is such a high tier character that it's hard to really look into those other characters when you have someone that's just up there, one of those guys right there. And in addition, D Greyman is actually kind of the first real Teen Plus Exorcist type manga. And now you see all types in this category, such as Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, uh, Hell's Paradise, Undead Unluck. So you see a lot of these new Teen Plus shonen, and D Greyman's kind of the godfather of this subsection of shonen. So it's nice to see. But now to get into our final manga here, in another Teen Plus shonen manga, which is an Exorcist manga, we have Blue Exorcist. Blue Exorcist is a story of Ren Akumura, who is deemed the son of Satan in his journey into trying to become a knight of the True Cross. To do this, he must go through exorcist school, in which he finds out his teacher is actually his younger brother, Yukio. Throughout the story, the two and their friends go through trials and tribulations to uncover more about themselves and what they are really fighting for. Now, this is really specific, but one of the elements that I really think puts Blue Exorcist into a higher tier of shonen, and the fact that it can even end up in a video like this, is the backstory into how Ren's mother met Fujimoto and Satan, and then how Ren was born on the Blue Knight. This is truly one of the best backstories I've ever read, and the best reveals of how all of this happened was truly written masterfully. And I love how Kazue really took the ample time, didn't worry about how many pages or how many chapters it took to fully flesh out the characters, the situation, and the story. I think you're probably noticing a trend here between all three of these series, but the fact that the characters are very important to making a good series because characters really drive series, and that's something that I think all three of these do really well. And Blue Exorcist has extremely likable characters. Not all of them are really, I wouldn't say they're all masterfully written, great characters, but I think they're all likable. With Yukio and Izumu being masterclass characters. The development of both are truly exceptional, especially within the shonen demographic. Now, I think the artwork in Blue Exorcist is vastly underrated. I think the darker tones on the pages make it look better than it would on a lighter color. I think the characters' designs are pretty good all around. And though I don't think the fights require crazy choreography and skill, they still look really good. And the paneling itself is really good and flows well as well. I think the artwork starts good and continues to get better going along. Now, Blue Exorcist is currently at 132 chapters and is on hiatus until mid 2022 due to Kazue doing a light novel to manga adaptation currently. I forgot to say this during the D Gray Man portion, so I'm going to put it in now. D Gray Man is 241 chapters and is currently serializing one chapter every 3 months due to Hoshino's wrist problems. All three of these manga I highly recommend and are all quite worth the read, especially if you're a fan of any of these anime adaptations, as I think that the manga for them is all the better way to consume these stories. Noragami, D Gray Man, and Blue Exorcist are all near the top of my top shonen list, and for a good reason. So if you're interested, you might as well give them a try. You can read D Gray Man and Blue Exorcist on the Shonen Jump app, and for Noragami, you're just gonna have to find that one yourself. But they do sell the physical copies in stores if you are interested in collecting that. Thank you for watching this video. I'll be releasing more of these when I feel something is at the level to where I need to share with my viewership to put them on. But with that being said, please subscribe if you enjoy my content, like the video if you like the video, and share my content so that we can continue to grow together. Once again, thank you for watching this. It's the Young Demon, and I'm out. Peace.